Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be breaking down a severe weather event that'll be taking place across the United States over the next few days, bringing the risk for large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps a couple of tornadoes. And there's also going to be a cool down coming to parts of the United States, and we'll also discuss that in this forecast. But let's first begin with what's happening across the United States today, and we'll first begin with the northern plains. And we got a lot of interesting weather going up here in the northern plains and throughout the Rocky Mountains. We do have a low pressure system that is located over the Rocky Mountains in northwest Colorado. This is spurring up some showers and some storms across Montana and Wyoming. Obviously not too big of a deal right now, but as this moves off to the east, this will start to produce more of a severe weather threat both today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, could even go through Friday of this week. So this low pressure system will bring rounds of showers and storms every single day, and it'll start in the northern plains today, moving through the Midwest both tomorrow and as well as on Wednesday, into the Ohio Valley on Thursday, and perhaps into the Northeast on Friday. So it'll be a pretty active weather pattern with this new trough that is moving off to the north and east. And then back further down to the south, we do have an upper level low that's located across parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. This will produce some severe weather both today and tomorrow. It's overall a low risk, but there will be some sporadic hail, damaging winds. No tornado risk down there, but there will at least be some damaging winds with a few storms all being pulled out of the Gulf of Mexico. Even though this is an upper level low, we have southerly winds that'll pull moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico and producing that risk for some showers and storms. Further over to the east, look at this over here, just east of New England. That is actually the remnants of Idalia. It is bringing some showers and a few storms near Nova Scotia. I'm not really expecting anything for New England, but if you're up there, you might see a passing shower, maybe a rumble of thunder if you're right on Cape Cod or eastern Maine. But overall, nothing too concerning there, and it will overall stay quiet up there for at least the next few days. One thing that's not quieting down is the Atlantic Tropics. We are only 1 week away from the peak of hurricane season, and we have currently 4 areas in the Atlantic Ocean that we're watching very closely, one of which could impact land, including maybe the Lesser Antilles, the Bahamas, and perhaps even the United States over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to break down all the possibilities for you in this Atlantic Tropics outlook. First, beginning with post-tropical cyclone Gert. This is irrelevant at this point. It's moving off to the north, and it will weaken over the next few hours. We have no more advisories on this one, so it's basically fizzled out. We have Katia back over in the eastern Atlantic Ocean, moving to the north. This is also expected to weaken over the next few days, and it will not impact the United States by any means. But the area of development that is the greatest concern right now for any land, including the Lesser Antilles, Bahamas, and as well as even the United States, would be this area here. It has a 70% chance of development over the next 48 hours, and then also a 90% chance of development over the next 5 days. So we have a fairly likelihood that this will develop into either a tropical storm, perhaps even a long-tracked hurricane. A lot of computer models have been indicating that this could get close to a major hurricane level as early as this weekend. It's going to really intensify pretty quickly if it's able to develop pretty quickly. And then back over near Africa, we have another tropical wave that'll go into the Atlantic Ocean here pretty soon. This should stay out to sea, but it's kind of uncertain. This one in particular, though, this could easily go toward the Lesser Antilles, perhaps near the Bahamas or even Florida. It's a possibility, but again, there's a lot of time between now and then. There's a ton of uncertainty here. But there's also a chance that this is just a fish storm, meaning that nobody's impacted by this. It would just be out in the water and not impacting any land. So there's a lot of possibilities here. Now, a lot of the ensembles right now are indicating a lot of different things. Most of the ensembles, meaning different computer models, are indicating that this will likely at least get to a category 3, perhaps a category 4 hurricane as it moves off to the west-northwest. Obviously, when I say that, obviously it sounds very concerning, but as of right now, there's a chance that this misses land by quite a bit. There are some computer models, though, that do bring this close to the Lesser Antilles, which would promote more of a flooding risk and storm surge threat along with high winds. But you'll notice where these computer models take it, just east of the Bahamas. It's uncertain where this will go. A lot of the computer models think this will stay out to sea, some of which are kind of bringing it toward the Bahamas, but again, there is still 7+ days out. There's no need to panic about this if you're near the United States, but obviously this is a bit concerning when you talk about how intense this could get. Over the next really 5 to 6 days, this is likely to become a category 3 hurricane, and from there, obviously, it could get much higher. So I do want to reiterate, again, there is no concern right now for the United States, but it will be something to watch out for. Again, this is 10+ days out from even impacting the United States if it did. So again, no need to panic. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We'll keep you posted with the latest and everything that you need to know about the tropics and as well as what's happening closer to home. And we're going to talk more about the weather pattern here across the United States, and we're going to look at the jet stream. This is what controls the weather patterns across the United States. Notice where the ridge is. It's actually down in the southeast United States in the upper levels, so it's dominating down there, keeping areas very hot, very dry, very stagnant. It's not very fun if you're in this area. Now, back further off to the north and west, we do have a trough injection that's happening back over in the Rocky Mountains. Mountains. That's what I mentioned at the top of this forecast. This will bring some severe weather as we go into later today, as well as into tomorrow, and as well as into Wednesday, Thursday. Notice where this is by Tuesday morning. It's going to be over areas in the northern plains. High pressure system still down over in the southeast United States. Once we go through Wednesday into Thursday, that trough injection will continue to roll into the Midwest. We'll have a secondary one right behind it, so two different troughs. Eventually by Thursday into Friday, this moves off to the east, and by the weekend, things do become a lot more calm. We're not going to be looking at any organized systems, and usually in September, we're not really looking at too many organized troughs. So as of right now, we're not really seeing a whole lot here on Saturday or Sunday, but we will have that high pressure system back down near Mexico, and then our jet stream well off to the north, really not going to make any big cool downs, it looks like, for the United States as of right now. But some areas will see some cool down. So as we go throughout the next few days, notice by Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday, record-breaking high temperatures will continue for a large chunk of areas in southern Canada, as well as parts of the Midwest. But a cool down will come by Wednesday into Thursday. Notice some cooler air ushering in behind this trough, and this is from those strong northerly winds, and that'll cool some areas down. Low temperatures, by the way, could get down into the 40s in some areas back over in the upper Midwest. So cooler weather is ahead. Once we get into Friday into Saturday, overall some cooler weather still ushering into parts of the Ohio Valley, and then around maybe a little bit above average temperatures for parts of the southern plains and as well as the northeast. But overall, hot weather's ahead. It's going to be pretty stagnant across the United States when it comes to the temperatures. Look at these low temperatures on Friday morning. Again, I just mentioned this, but look at this. Back up in the upper Midwest, some areas in the mid to upper 40s for low temperatures. Even on Thursday morning, it's very possible. Over in the Rocky Mountains, temperatures as well starting to get down there. Back over near Salt Lake City, Utah, earlier today, there was actually snow that fell about 10,000 feet in elevation. So we are starting to get closer to winter. A little bit of snow there in the upper elevation. So if you're excited for some snow and you want to go skiing, maybe about 10,000 feet up, you might see some. All right, let's talk more about the severe weather potential for the next several days. And with today, there's a couple areas to watch for. Northern plains will be watching for some isolated to maybe widely scattered damaging winds, maybe a little bit of large hail. Back down in parts of the Mississippi Valley near Arkansas, southern Missouri, and northern Louisiana, there is a marginal threat, again, for some isolated damaging winds, maybe a couple of isolated large hailstorms. In terms of timing across parts of the northern plains, storms will fire up this evening around 6 to 7 o'clock, mainly damaging winds. These storms will be racing off to the north and east, so overall damaging winds the main concern. It's not an overly organized severe weather event. I do think the severe weather will be more organized as we go into tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. We do currently have a slight risk of severe weather back in parts of Minnesota and northwest Wisconsin, and as well as a marginal threat surrounding that area. Main concern right now is damaging winds and hail. However, there is going to be a chance for an isolated tornado or two. That does include Minneapolis and as well as western Wisconsin. So I have a tornado action plan in place just in case there is any sort of tornado activity. And look at the low-level jet as we go into late Tuesday. Low-level jet will get up there around 30 knots, maybe up to 40 knots. That's a pretty moderate low-level jet, so there will be some spin in the atmosphere, and we could see maybe an isolated tornado or two out of some of these storms on late Tuesday night. Eventually, as we go throughout the timing, notice around 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, we'll be watching for storms to really start to fire up across parts of Minnesota, as well as northeast Iowa, parts of Wisconsin. Eventually, by about 8, 9 o'clock, these storms move off to the east, mainly damaging winds by this point, and overnight, mainly damaging winds if any storms are still severe. By Wednesday morning, most of these storms will be non-severe, but gusty winds will be possible, lightning, that sort of thing will still be possible. I might go live for the severe weather event tomorrow, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell icon so you're notified if and when I do go live. And then going into wacky weather Wednesday, another large marginal threat of severe weather goes from Michigan all the way back through parts of Tennessee and even Mississippi. The main concern right now is damaging winds. And notice the timing right now, storms will fire up during the morning hours. Eventually by the afternoon, we could see another round of storms. Main concern though right now is damaging winds. Might see an isolated tornado, but again, the threat right now is a little bit lower. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already.